The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 years, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Ben Ark from LN Bits.
Hello, happy summer solstice.
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue one. Issue one, Trump coin. The Trump meme coin DJT on Solana skyrockets amidst rumors that it's the official token. With zero evidence of a Trump link, one Solana meme coin has more than doubled in price and seen $129 million in trades based on a rumor. Then, the next day, Trump token whale sells for $3.7 million profit as the meme coin begins its decline. Then, Donald Trump and son Barron are not involved in DJT Solana meme coin, says Roger Stone. And there's now a Twitter story saying that Martin I can't say it right, Shkreli, I think he was that pharmacy guy. He sold the pharmacy drugs for a while.
He's the AIDS guy.
Yeah, he's made money on the AIDS drug and he bought the Wu-Tang album. He claims that he collaborated with Trump's 18-year-old son, Barron Trump, to make the coin. He even said that Barron ran the programs and sat there with him. Roger Stone, Trump's longtime lawyer and ally, took to Twitter saying, Donald Trump and Barron are not involved in any way with DJT. Also, on the meme coin updates, I wanted to warn you about Daddy Coin from last week. Andrew Tate's coin plummeted 60% despite his plans for, quote, utility. So, Ben, what do you think about DJT coin, the coin that seems completely unlinked to the presidential candidate, yet made a lot of people a lot of money?
Yeah, it seems that there's a whole bunch of these Trumpy coins which have been published, and I think the DJT one it replaced MAGA coin or something. There's this MAGA thing, and then there was a press release saying that they had nothing to do with it, the Trump people. And then there was this DJT coin, and now there's another press release saying they have nothing to do with it. It's interesting, this involvement with the Shkreli guy. He's like a notorious baddie, the guy who like upped the AIDS medication up by, I think it was like 10,000% or something, and got in a lot of trouble for that. I actually thought he was still in jail, to be fair. Brave new world, like shitcoiners look for opportunities, and even if they haven't been involved, it kind of makes sense that politicians will become the new shitcoiners and try and print some money to fund their campaigns. So if they are involved, it wouldn't surprise me. If they're not involved, it wouldn't surprise me. From what I hear, though, this Shkreli guy is being quite brazen, saying that they were involved and he did work with Barron, Trump's son or something, and had lots of calls with him. And as he's probably not been out of jail for very long, I can't imagine he's going to want to put himself in legal trouble. So I imagine what he's saying would be truthful, if not horrendous. But I was able to. I had a slight insight when I was in Prague. I was speaking to some shitcoiners at this side event who do the meme coins, and they're just opportunists. They find something, anything at all, which they can piggyback off, create some meme coin, pump it, dump their bags, and then move on to the next one. And that's what they're doing. They're just reaching out to these whoever, it could be Andrew Tate, could be Trump, could be whoever, and then creating these coins, using it as a way to just pump their bags, and then dumping the coins on the market, which I do kind of feel is a shame in a way, because I've always quite liked the idea of like a community-based coin. But I think we spoke about this the last time I was on, and I was saying it's probably better. A better fit might be like an NFT type thing, which you could collect, like some sort of collectible, which would then be pegged as the person or whoever or whatever this thing's pegged to, whatever community it's pegged to, as it goes up in value. And is worth as they go up in value and have a bigger impact than whatever you're holding would go up in value. But yeah, it's kind of like these things are so easy to build. It's not complicated. It's not like the olden days where there was at least a little bit of technical expertise which was involved in building out these crappy coins. Now it's download some software, click around, name something, publish, boom, and you've got yourself a meme coin. So yeah, it makes sense that there's going to be a whole bunch of coins, particularly around the Trump campaign. And I actually think they probably are involved. And they've just tried to distance themselves from it because they're worried about legal repercussions or perhaps annoying their voters. Maybe this thing took off more than they thought it would and became people started to hear about it in the general media as opposed to just within the weird cryptocurrency media thing. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a brave new world. Politicians becoming shitcoiners.
It's been very interesting to see how some people are into it and some people are drawn into it. It was just a few weeks ago we talked about Jenner Coin, which was kind of casually announced on a Twitter post that a lot of people thought could have been fake. Maybe the account was hacked. Maybe Mr. and Mrs. Jenner didn't even know who he was linking to or what the coin was. Later on, they took credit for the coin and it became one of these pump and dump things. I agree with you, Ben. It would be nice if there was a good community coin. I'm not sure how we're going to get there, and I don't think it's easy going to see the winner. Obviously, if you want your meme coin to win, like according to Andrew Tate, he wants his coin to win, and he's doing what you said, Ben. He says he's going to convert Daddy Coin into an NFT, probably by buying up all of the stock, and then the people who have them left, they'll call them NFTs, and then he wants to give them rewards and so forth. But I think it's really strange to see these things take off to millions of dollars before the rewards. There's so much hype and so much froth in the market that people want to get these things. And I don't know whether they see them as the new NFTs, the new collectibles. For people like you and me that have been this so long, it's another ICO, it's another NFT, it's another same old thing. But obviously with much bigger stars, the former president, the Olympian, Iggy Azalea, this Tate guy. So it is very interesting to see how it goes. But like we've been saying from the beginning, and Andrea said, of course, everyone in the future, everyone will have their own altcoin.
Little
And I
Timmy
think
coin in a playground.
that's it. And Andreas, in his beauty and his kindness, he thought of it as a good thing. He's like, yeah, the kids will have their coins and they'll play
Yeah.
with them. But when we look at what's actually happened, it's these famous people, and even these famous people that aren't involved or claim not to be involved, we don't know, that are making the meme coins. And they're not making them to make friends with Joey and Freddie and whatever. They're making them to make a lot of money and presumably rob their fans. So it's very interesting. I don't know if it's fans or early adopters or StubHub scalpers, whoever's into this thing, but it definitely seems like not something I would be investing in. And we've also seen
I
the
guess,
go up and down as expected. Go ahead,
yeah.
Dan. Ben might have an internet problem here. We're not sure if he's still with us, but let's see. Exit
I
question.
guess it would be it's like the ICO thing where a lot of people got excited about it and people poured loads of money in, and then those people, oh no, is it back? Am I back? Am I
You're
back?
still we hear your audio, but I think you might be on a delay. You might want to try to turn your video off, or maybe rejoin and stuff.
It's
But
that pigeon, man. Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you.
No. Ah.
Well, we'll see if Ben can get his internet working. But it is interesting to see as
Oh,
the
okay.
price of these
Yeah,
coins get
maybe.
bigger and bigger.
Can you
And
hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you now. But
Okay,
you might,
poor internet. You're on the road.
all right. I can mute my video too. We'll all go out. But I don't know. I just think
I
it's going to
think I've
keep
got
happening.
internet now. I think it came back. I
Yeah,
think I've
it's
got
yellow.
internet now. I think it's okay. It's this pigeon on top of my house. There's a big fat pigeon on my house, and it's messing with my Starlink, I think. Um, but yeah, we're both in bad internet scenarios today, so let's see how well we can carry on. No, but you can imagine these crypto bro people talking to whoever, Andrew Tate, and saying, "Oh, you can make loads of money, easy money." And they're doing that to all. They're just opportunists. They're opportunists. The ones I was speaking to at the weekend, they'd like sort out some kid who was in some meme. You know that Russian kid with the funny face, the blonde one? He's got like kind of big eyes. I don't know. Is like a something of a meme. You see him pop up in memes. Anyway, they tracked this kid down in wherever in Russia, and then got him on a live stream and launched a coin based on him, just as an opportunity to like piggyback off some if there's any sort of like momentum within some sort of internet phenomenon, then they piggyback off it and then they just try and make money off it, and that's all they do. And they're just approaching all these people, famous people, influencers, whoever, and then they're just. But we had it with the ICO scams where there was like a wave of scams, people got burnt, then they learn that they're bollocks, and these companies who are launching these ICOs, they don't really usually come to anything. There's very few of them who actually are successful and spend the money wisely. And I guess it's just the market's found a new way to convince people to part with their money, and they're exploiting it. And after this wave, which you've seen, 6 times or something in one form or another in our little market, after people have been stung, they'll learn, and people won't be able to launch these ridiculous coins. But no, I was interested. So on a little side note, because obviously we work on some Nostr stuff, and with Nostr, it's you have access to the full social media network of the full network of users when you make a Nostr client. And what I imagine might start happening, there's no real like monetary value attached to it, but one of these Andrew Tate type people, they could make a community-centric client, Nostr client, and then the users could use it and they would feel like they're part of something, but then they're also part of the larger Nostr network as well. So I was sort of waiting for that to start happening in Nostr. It's not related to the cool things about Nostr, obviously, is there's no shitcoins attached to it. But I was waiting for these kind of community projects to start to appear on Nostr and then pull in all their users into Nostr. Although hopefully it's people who aren't utterly despicable and yeah. But
Well, what would be nice about that is at least they'd have a project to coalesce around. They'd have Nostr to work on. If they improve their version of Nostr, then the people who invested in the coin could get rewards. It seems a lot more realistic than these random celebrities launching meme coins.
yeah, it's just easy. It's just easy. And they have some party, and they have some cool cyberpunky looking crypto bro with like fucking bandana in his head and like bangles and a laptop in his rucksack, and he gets out and he's like, yeah man, we can launch a coin, it's going to take over the world. And they get convinced by the sale pitch, when really the crypto bro has no real like interest in the technology beyond just trying to enrich themselves.
Well, and one of the
Fake, they're
first
all
ones we
fake.
covered of these coins, the Iggy Azalea coin, they had a some kind of hacker or computer person they worked with who launched their initial coin and then ran off with all the money. I think he got around 300K. But yeah, it is interesting that the scammers are scamming the scammers. Like
Yeah,
it's a complicated layers here.
yeah, we'll just have to wait for the wave. We'll just have to watch it happen, watch people get wrecked, and then the world will learn not to trust these influencer meme coins.
All right, let's keep
But
it.
it is interesting, I suppose, if you have, potentially the president's, or maybe the future president's son involved in creating one of these things, and then this guy becomes president. Like, I don't know. I don't know where that puts that weird meme coin. Hopefully, it'll just fizzle away to nothing. But and you got to remember as well, like, all these things, they're castles built on some not even castles. They're sheds built on sand. Like all these things are built on the Solana network, which is, as we know, utter bollocks. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I imagine more politicians will come out with similar sorts of things, and some of them might get into power, and whether they'll shill their bags in like and leverage the power they have. Soon, Thomas, you'll be DJT will be an accepted currency in the US, so that's something to look forward to, isn't it?
It's certainly very possible. And if his father was reelected, I think, and if Barron was involved, which we don't think he is, uh, he could probably get a pardon. I mean, he could probably turn this thing around. Because, yeah, it looks bad now, and I think a lot of people are going to lose their money. But
Yeah.
we've been seeing that about memes coins for weeks now. But people still really like them. There's still that theory is if you get in early and it goes up and you sell, you could still be a winner. But there's going to be a lot of losers around you, and it's a very dangerous investment to play with.
Just like the ICOs, exactly the same, and it was exactly the same like way in which we spoke about the ICO craze as well.
on this show. Yeah, and it moved along and no one even remembers and they didn't learn any lessons. That's the worst.
No.
But let's keep moving here. Moving on to issue 2. Microstrategy just bought $800 million worth of Bitcoin. We've talked about this company before. This is kind of what I would do if I had a big company back in the day. Mad Bitcoins would just buy up Bitcoin and hold them. Seems like it's going well for Michael Saylor. Despite his Ethereum is okay as number 2 announcement last week, he bought Bitcoin once again. I think it's really interesting to have a company out there that's just buying Bitcoin. Obviously, you can buy them on the stock market, or you could buy one of the new ETFs, which directly hold Bitcoin. It's interesting to see the contrast between those two vehicles and how MicroStrategy is taking off in ways that the old Winklevi and Barry Silbert, his ETFs never did. His little things never seem to have these kind of moves that MicroStrategy is making, buying more and more Bitcoin. Maybe even starting to worry people that they have too much Bitcoin. They say they now have 226,331 Bitcoin. That's $15 billion, and as it says, almost 1% of the 20 million tokens in Bitcoin circulating supply. Ben, Ark, what do you think about MicroStrategy buying more?
It's worrying. I mean, I'm not saying he's a spook. That's what I hear. I'm not saying he is. That's what I've heard. There's some of the rumors. And if you go from a position, maybe the US goes from a position of trying to stop this thing, the next thing is to try and control it. And one of the best ways to try and control it is just get as many coins as you can. And there's a glitch in the system. And it's hard for a lot of Bitcoiners to hear because a lot of Bitcoiners have got MicroStrategy stock and they've done very well on it. But I feel like we should be very wary of MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. Not so I personally didn't say he's a spook, by the way. That's what I hear. Some people said it to me. I don't think it's true, but maybe it's true. I'm not saying it is though. Yeah, so like he's just found this money printer machine, which is that he buys Bitcoin, he sells MicroStrategy stocks to people who want to be exposed to Bitcoin. He gets the money from the MicroStrategy stock, and then he buys more Bitcoin. So you have this infinite accumulation of capital and sucking up Bitcoins. I'm not entirely sure of his intentions. Can you share that tweet which I sent you with this was great. So I went to BTC Prague, and in Prague they have Parallelipolis, which is the Institute of Crypto Anarchy, which really has the spirit of Bitcoin, where we all came from, embedded in it. And they printed out, there's me down there at the bottom, and they printed out this huge banner, which is Papa Pig from Peppa Pig, and he's eating a Bitcoin. It's got Michael Saylor's face on it, and it says, "Tell us something about Bitcoin, Daddy Pig." And then they got the little guy with the microphone, and I thought it was hilarious. And I mean, it's quite controversial because obviously BC Prague has got this guy as a speaker, but I quite liked how overt it was at saying, look, there are some of us within this community who feel your influence and some of the things you're saying aren't in Bitcoin's best interests. And I thought it was a great way of like protesting that. They also got these out, and they printed them out as little stickers, and they stuck them on all the urinals in BTC Prague. So every time you went to the toilet, you saw it. So I hope that chips away his ego a little bit. But we shouldn't trust these these billionaires coming into Bitcoin, relative new billionaires, recycling a lot of the stuff we've said on this show, using it as kind of fodder on these big news shows, and then accumulating huge sums of Bitcoin. Yeah, it's certainly unnerving. And he'll flip, like he'll just flip if he sees there's more money. I don't know. I mean, like, if the speculation is right and that it's a way in which they can just hoover up Bitcoin to have some influence over the network, then obviously it will continue. But if not, then he sees that ETH is like a more profitable avenue for him. He'll just flip to that and just start sucking up all the ETH as well. But yeah, we should be unnerved by it. And he is having impact on the protocol and on the network. He sucked up all these coins. A lot of people have been enriched by having MicroStrategy stock. And now he's saying things like, we need to ossify Bitcoin. not realizing that Bitcoin is in fact a work in progress and it can never ossify, it needs to continually get better. And we need things like greater privacy on chain, and there's a whole bunch of hard problems to solve. And this idea, it's the Roger Ver play. It's like, let's not change it. I have my opinion on how Bitcoin should be, and let's not change it. And in the context of potentially him, I'm not saying he is, but the rumors of his interests lying, of him being involved some way in state, like that becomes unnerving. That maybe that's a way in which they're going to try and have some sort of control over the Bitcoin network.
I think it's very interesting that he's trying to buy all the Bitcoin, obviously, and so many others have had this idea, like Pirate at 40, who ran a Ponzi scheme back in the day where he was taking people's money, buying Bitcoin, taking people's money, buying Bitcoin. And I kind of understood the MicroStrategy thing when the Bitcoin ETFs didn't exist, when it was just the Barry Silbert one that had the extra fee. You had to pay a lot more. You got a lot less Bitcoin. I could see why people would say, hey, I'm going to buy MicroStrategy instead of, the Bitcoin Coin Center ETF or what it was, the original one. But now that there's so many ETFs, I don't know why you wouldn't just invest in the ETF. Like Ben said, if you're a Bitcoin ETF, and I don't know the financial details, but I imagine you've written up papers saying that you're going to continue being a Bitcoin ETF. I don't think that the Bitcoin ETFs are just going to decide tomorrow, let's become Ethereum ETFs. But MicroStrategy very well could. MicroStrategy is its own company. When you're buying it, there's no promise that they're going to hold Bitcoin forever. There's no promise that, they're not going to diversify into altcoins or make their own coin or make a Bitcoin Cash or a Bitcoin SV or maybe a Sailor's vision. Maybe Michael Saylor has his own vision for Bitcoin. We don't know, right? And we have no insider information here, but it just smells kind of funny, and I'm not sure why people wouldn't just buy the ETFs at this day and age.
Yeah, or just buy Bitcoin if they can. But I mean, of course, these big institutions, they can't. I think a lot of it as well comes to you got a dog there on a leash, I see. Have you? A lot of it comes down to as well that you have these people working in Bitcoin companies and they have stock. If you're working for Coinbase or Kraken or something, and then if you have stock and it's with some Delaware company and you're on Carter, then it's very easy to like switch that stock to something like MicroStrategy. If you have I can't remember exactly what it's called, but you can't sell the stock, but you can switch to the stock. So I think a lot of people have done that within the Bitcoin space. So it really does create this kind of like power dynamic where some quite influential Bitcoiners have got a lot of MicroStrategy stock. And that is also unnerving. I've spoken to a few of them myself, some well-loved Bitcoiners who love MicroStrategy because it's made them rich. and then it puts the blinkers on them then, and they're not skeptical about what the intentions of MicroStrategy and MicroSaylor might be.
Well, there have definitely been a lot of times we've talked about how people get money donated to their 401k by their employer, and that this is pre-tax money. So you can take that out and invest the full $100, say, into MicroStrategies rather than investing $70. And then if your stock goes up to like $500, you only pay the tax on the winnings. So you don't have to pay the tax when you go in. So a lot of people like that could be buying MicroStrategy. But now they could just buy the ETFs. So we'll have to see how it goes if he keeps buying and if he stays 100% Bitcoin, despite his recent comments. All right, let's keep moving. Check out World Crypto Network at worldcryptonetwork.com. We've got 3,850 videos, and we've got some really fun Adam Meister thumbnails. Sorry, Adam, these are all computer generated, but you've just got a real good look on your face there. So check out the Adam Meister thumbnails. Moving on, Bitcoin remains dominance of more than 50% amid volatility. We talked about before the Bitcoin market dominance cap, how Ethereum and other altcoins have reduced the Bitcoin dominance or control of the market number. But right now, Bitcoin is back up above 50%, 54% to be specific. We're also checking out the miners' Bitcoin reserves are at a 14-year low as the fiat value nears all-time high. This could be big for the price of Bitcoin. And an insane amount of Bitcoin shorters are hoping it won't go to 70K. Ben Ark, what do you think about Bitcoin dominance, the miners low on coins, and an insane amount of Bitcoin shorters?
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously MicroStrategy's sucking up all the coins, isn't he? Aren't they? But yeah, fees. Miners are making a killing on fees, and they have been for a little while since we've had high fees. So I think that's probably impacted the holdings of miners. Like they can have a profitable operation based on fees rather than based on holding the coins for chunks of time in order to speculate on the price. Probably as it always has historically done, going higher. It's also probably a sign that we've got like more sophisticated miners involved in mining now, and their operations are competing with each other. And they can make the money on fees, and then they're just the Bitcoin itself is just something they get and then they sell straight away. They're not reliant upon it, and they're not reliant upon speculating on it like they were as well. So maybe it's more efficient handling of coins by miners. But yeah, I think that's positive news, and the Bitcoin being over 50% is positive news. But do you remember the days when Bitcoin was like 90% of market cap and everything else was just tiny, and it wasn't even a threat, that combined that all these things couldn't get over 50% for Bitcoin, and
Well,
it was
at first, it didn't even make sense that they were doing this as a metric. We were just sitting there on the sidelines and we're like, Bitcoin is the greatest thing, of course. And they were like, no, it's not. It's less dominant. And like you're saying, Bennett, when the Ethereum really came out, when it hit the market, and then all the other altcoins, they really did check into that Bitcoin dominance. So it's neat to see it going back the other way.
yeah. I mean, I do guess that, because obviously a lot of these things they don't have the liquidity. So we've talked about it before, where you create 1,000 or I don't know 100,000 meme coins, and then you wash trade them between you and your friends, and you get it up to X amount. Then suddenly that meme coin has a market cap of some imaginary number. But the reality is that it hasn't got a market cap of that. And I think Bitcoin's market cap is probably a little bit more honest in that it has like utility value. People use it for stuff. And we have lots of different use cases. People are holding it for things as well. And I think it's more accounted for that the actual liquidity which is out there is probably reflected in the price value rather than in the market cap. Whereas like all the crazy coins combined, I would say that the actual, if they say it's, 49% of the market cap, the reality is that it still may only be like 30. It's just that you have to account for all the wash traded shit coins which are out there, all the meme coins, all the Andrew Tate meme coins. But no, things like these ETFs sucking up coins, MicroStrategy sucking up coins. It's a seller's market. It's weird there's people shorting Bitcoin though, isn't it? It's a strange. I guess maybe it's a bunch of people who feel that the halvening has happened and we've hit the high price from the halvening, and they're looking historically. I don't know. Maybe they're not, because historically, no, the pump would happen about now, wouldn't it? After post halvening, is that correct? I can't remember.
Yeah, I would say right about now or in a couple months, I'm sure there should be a post-halving pump.
Uh,
I'm not thinking that the shorters are really well informed here. I think they're
mm,
looking at the market saying this thing has gone up too much. I think it'll go down. And that's not a bad bet. Like everything does go down. But when I look at these three stories together, I kind of see that perfect storm from the movie.
yeah,
Going dominance going up, miners not having a large supply of coins so they can't slow down the market, and then the insane amount of shorters. It seems to me the dominance goes up, the miners have sold all their coins, and these shorting people are going to get wrecked, and that
it's
Bitcoin is probably going to break through 70K.
it's going to be like I think Willie Woo said, it's going to be boring for a while because you got to take out the shorters, and that process can be long and drawn out as well. But once they're gone, then sky's the limit. It's clear skies.
That's right. And there's a definite possibility of a supply squeeze where there's
Yeah,
just not enough Bitcoin on the market. There's too much demand. And this causes what they've been asking for on Twitter, one of those large green candles that they want to call a God candle. So that might happen. So we don't know.
the hockey stick.
Unfortunately, the Magic 8 Ball downstairs in the car. But we do have for the exit question this web page Magic 8 Ball version here. So Ben Ark predicting against the untested brand new web page Magic 8 Ball. Will the price of Bitcoin be higher or lower this time next week?
Well, let want to go into more detail here. So I did a workshop in BTC Prague, and in it we made an LM-Bits extension in half an hour from scratch, and we made the Magic 8 Ball. So you could pay an LN pay, and then ask it a question, and then it would return. I talked about this on the show for a while, like I wanted it to exist, and then it would just return a random Magic 8 Ball type word. But stupidly, I didn't have it prepared to show you, but hopefully it'll get merged into the vetted extension so I can show you next week. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So what was the question? Will it go up?
Higher or lower?
Oh, higher.
That sounds like a great Magic 8 Ball program. I'd love to try that out, Ben. It's
Yeah,
funny, I wrote a Magic 8 Ball program for like the TI-82 calculators or something back in the day. Oh,
nice.
it's really great. One of the most fun things, I wasn't good at programming, but I had like a bitmap for the background and a bitmap for the other background. And
Uh,
my friend who was really good at programming went in there and replaced them with a program that would draw like a circle and
ooh.
save disk space on the program. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'd agree, Ben. I think we're going higher. Like I said about the triple story there, the perfect storm. It looks good to me. Again, don't not financial advice. Don't take it to the bank. But here we go. Magic 8 Ball on my phone. Will the price of Bitcoin be higher this time next week? The ball shakes, and my sources say no. My sources
Ooh.
say no. The new ball is slightly pessimistic, but let's keep it going here. We've got another issue. Big change in crypto's culture. This is from Joe Weisenthal at The Stalwart on Twitter. He says, in today's markets newsletter, I wrote about how crypto libertarianism went from building systems that were robust against outside interference to influencing politics in order to protect the right to gamble on meme coins. A pretty big slam against the libertarians there. I don't think it's all their fault. I think there's a lot of other people that are into meme coins and this get rich quick idea. Obviously, we've seen, as Ben said, the famous pharma bro, Martin Shkreli, enter the market, now claiming to be behind the DJT meme coin and claiming a link to Barron. So it is kind of a sad turn. I did like it better when we were going to get rid of the banks and replace the US dollar and destroy the petrodollar and all the early enthusiasm. But it's not that big of a surprise, and I wouldn't really blame the libertarians. If you have the chance to sell out, and I think these meme coin people think they do, they're probably going to sell out. They're probably going to go for it. Ben, what do you think about libertarians changing their minds on robust systems against outside interference to influencing politics to protect the right to gamble on meme
Well, no,
coins?
I think that inevitably, as this thing gains more traction and general people get involved in it and power interests, that we get liquidated, that we get diluted down, like the core essence and the spirit of why we're building these tools in the first place will get diluted. And it's something I was kind of aware of the past couple of conferences I've gone to, where I felt that, I mean, you always have it when the price is high, you have a bunch of noobs don't really know what this thing is. But more and more, I feel like there's people, like Michael Saylor has his own little following of people who sit on every word he says. Yeah, we're being diluted. The sort of cypherpunk ideology or the crypto
Well,
anarchist
and
ideology.
some of these people, Ben, are like really huge influencers. Like we have all our little crypto influencers and Michael Saylor and Coinbase, whatever you want to say. If you think about Taylor Swift or someone like that, if they got into the crypto market, if they started a meme coin, it would be huge. It would be
Yeah,
unbelievable. Like you say, people buy everything they tell her to buy. She sells them sweatshirts, she buys those, new album, different version of the album. You could very easily see a powerful celebrity like her or someone else in a similar level selling a lot of these meme coins and then maybe even pulling out early to get that profit.
yeah, yeah. No, it's just something we're going to have to come to terms with, and I guess at least the people building in Bitcoin still have those the core ideology of trying to make like state superfluous big corporations and dissolve some of these power interests which have too much control over humanity. And it is a Trojan. Like ultimately, we have built this Trojan which they will let in and they think is their friend, but ultimately is there to destroy them. Even, you know, billionaire spooks who are sucking up all the bitcoins, um, they're letting in the Trojan horse. So it's just a matter of time until this thing does impact them. But we have become a lobbying force. We've gone from this little weird techie project, which everyone thought was a scam, to something now people appreciate as being quite powerful and being able to have impact on the world, and now it's something they're trying to control, and then also something which people feel they need to like lobby. You know, like Trump's going to I think he'll probably go to the Bitcoin conference in Nashville. Is it in Nashville? I think he's going to attend there because he sees that there's, you know, a whole bunch of people who he could groom and hopefully vote for him. And we had it before. We'd have like people hop into our little world and then use it as a way of like, I don't know, just gathering a bunch of followers on Twitter by saying things which appealed to us, and a bunch of people would follow them. But now this is a lobbying force, and we need to make a concerted effort that dilution of ideology doesn't like have a negative impact on the protocol, and they shouldn't have, you know, we shouldn't really listen to what they're saying about things like ossifying Bitcoin or whatever else. But yeah, it's all very concerning and something we should definitely be on guard for. And I've said a couple of times now on panels and stuff that we need to be aware of the fight in which we're involved in. Like, this stuff is designed to attack these historical power bases which have been built up over 1,000 years, or a couple of thousand years. And of course, they're going to try and infiltrate, they're going to try and take control, and they're going to try and encourage that dilution of ideology. And we just need to, you know, fight the bastards, as they say.
Well, and although I was a little mean to the libertarians there, I want to celebrate the early libertarians and the early cypherpunks who saw Bitcoin for what it was 10 years ago and more than that. When we started making these videos, it was a little joke coin, like Ben's saying. Everyone was critical of it. They said it was Silk Road money. They said you're a dirty internet user, you know, all that kind of thing. Now, the former president, many other people are speaking out in favor of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So it is great to have come this long way, to have the lobbyists grown up and actually have some money. And like you say, to have influential politicians believe that Bitcoiners are worth getting to know, even if they just want the money. It's a step forward. We're getting bigger. And I agree with Ben. We need to try to keep that ideological core, but we also don't need to be too upset because we're being successful. More people
Yeah.
now see Bitcoin is a good thing than before. And a lot of them are powerful, rich people and have friends and so forth. So that's just going to amplify our cause and make the Trojan horse that much bigger.
I guess it's a bit like early participants just in the internet. They felt the internet was very special, dear to them. It was going to have a great impact on humanity. And then corps got involved, big interests got involved. The thing started to become popular, started to take off. And I imagine they had similar feelings when it was actually successful, you know, that it was like, they kind of, you know, were reminiscent for those times where it was a smaller community of people who all shared the same similar ideologies. Can you share screen? Because I got my magic 8 ball working. We could ask it a question. Oh, let me share screen.
All right, you can share screen. Yeah, it is interesting, Ben, to have come this far and have so many people into crypto now. It's pretty great.
Uh, can you see that?
I don't know. I can see the QR code. I don't know if I have
Can you see my
Lightning.
screen?
Yeah, they closed Wallet of Satoshi, so I don't know
Yay!
if I.
All right, I'm gonna copy. No, no, it's okay. I'm gonna copy. I've got a Telegram bot here. You know, you don't need to. You don't need to. It's fine. So what I do is I copy this, and then I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, I'm gonna ask it: is the price going to be higher or lower? And then it should ask me to pay for my internet. Oh, there we are. Resolving address right there. Okay, preparing payment. Is it going to be higher or lower? I'm paying in the Magic 8 Ball. Cannot predict now. Oh, there we are. Typical.
That's a good A
There
ball.
we are.
That's doing good work right there. But yeah, it is interesting to have all these people coming to the conferences and looking to get the Bitcoiners money and support. But yeah, I think we just need to see it as a sign of success and just get more people. Just keep
And
moving.
then also, this is the point as well, that the overriding, I've been thinking about this more and more, that the, particularly with digital commons, because obviously this is important for the Nostr stuff too, and you do not have the tragedy of the commons. And I was thinking more and more that if the overriding incentive for all the participants and users is greater freedom and liberty, then that far outweighs the incentive of whatever powerful person positions himself in a place of influence in the network. So ultimately, I think normal people, just like normal people who use the internet, will come to realize that this is a thing which can empower them, can they make them more free, and then they will actively, or maybe not even actively, it's that almost like that invisible hand thing. There will be a drive, a push for this thing to be successful as a tool of freedom and liberation and not of control and coercion.
Well, and one of those things about being that early internet user is that you couldn't necessarily make money from it. Maybe you could get a job in internet, maybe you could get promotions, that kind of thing. But it wasn't like Bitcoin. There wasn't a coin. So what's different about this time as an early internet adopter and an early Bitcoin adopter is that this time there was a coin. And if you had a lot of money, or if you had a little money, or if you're into risk, or if you're not into risk, you could get that coin and you could still get that coin. And if Bitcoin is successful, if the internet is successful, you could profit off it this time. So I think that was a big difference. A lot of people saw that early on and got very excited about those possibilities. Let's keep going. We've got just a couple announcements here, and we'll discuss these and we'll head towards the end of the show. According to Laura Brookover at Laura Brooksy1 on Twitter, the SEC sent the Ethereum people a closing letter in the Ethereum 2.0 investigation today. Things have changed remarkably fast since they filed their lawsuit against the SEC in late April, culminating in today's development. After more than a year, the Ethereum investigation is finally over with no charges against anyone. And remember, we talked about this before, how they had accused Ethereum of perhaps being a security, perhaps planning things in advance and so forth. According to this, the SEC has completely closed the books on that. So Vitalik and the others can now breathe a huge sigh of relief. They did not create a security, at least according to the SEC.
Yeah,
We
this
also
is
want
this is pretty huge because like a lot of us assumed that it was a security and there would be the legal implications of the SEC's oversight over to Ethereum. And then this court case has said, no, it's not a security, it's a commodity. And it changes the legal landscape when it comes to regulating Ethereum, which I'm kind of disappointed about because I was looking forward to the day. But I mean, it's kind of mean of me, but I was looking forward to the day where they turn around and said, yes, this thing's a security, and then all the legal implications which that involves. But yeah, it's a huge positive bit of news for the Ethereum community.
I agree with you, Ben. A lot of us back in the day were very much on the warpath that Ethereum was a security and that they would get busted and that the price would crash. That doesn't seem like it's going to happen now. It's very strange. It was created by a small group of people in Florida. They were all together in that room. Seems like a company to me. They all got heavily parts of the pre-mine. Seems like a company to me. Seems like it should have been a security. But the SEC has decided so, at least for the United States. Ethereum's not a security. The market can continue, and it looks like it's going to. Got one more short story here to bring up. Sadly, Kraken discloses it was exploited for nearly $3 million in a bug that has now been fixed. Apparently, the bug allowed users to send money to Kraken. Their account would then be credited with the balance before they sent the money, inflating their balance, allowing them to withdraw allegedly $3 million from Kraken. They've said that no user funds were at risk, and they have closed the hole. But it is sad to see Kraken, one of the last great unhacked, at least according to the public, exchanges, be hacked. Now it's pretty much Coinbase. And again, with Coinbase, we don't have any insider knowledge, but it seems more likely that they've probably been hacked and paid it off, and we don't know about it, rather than that they're unhackable. We know how difficult it can be to be unhackable. Ben, what do you think about the sad Kraken announcement?
I think we can presume that like all Bitcoin exchanges have been hacked at some point, but Kraken have done an absolutely sterling job over the years, not being hacked significantly, and to the point where they have to announce a hack, which I think was the difference in this. And like you say, I mean, because of the weird volatile price of Bitcoin and all these shit coins as well, like it's fairly easy to, as long as you've got enough money to like pay people on what they're going to pull out in a day, it's fairly easy if you wait long enough to kind of make the loss up just by the value of the thing going up. But I know a bunch of the Kraken people and they're good people. And I think it's, they work hard, and I think it's still one of the best exchange in my mind. And I would say that, 3 million for an exchange, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not that much money. And the fact they announced it is, I think it helps, give me confidence in Kraken. It was just their treasury, which is hacked. And they have I've spoken to a couple of the Kraken dudes before on their workflow, and they have like a hot wallet, and then they have this pipeline, which then pushes it into cold storage. So there's only ever so much available, which the hacker could get access to anyway. And they keep that amount just as small as possible. It was a very goofy bug, and it was something in the UX, I think, where you could like deposit funds and then have the funds arrive in your Kraken account before they've actually cleared. And then I guess maybe it was like a zero conf thing or something. They didn't obviously put too much detail on there, but only 3 million. It's the story sounded kind of juicy in that the person who discovered the vulnerability apparently allegedly has they only stole $4, but they told their mates about it, apparently allegedly, and then their mates then ripped off the 3 million. But if you go on Kraken, you got a KYC. So whoever's stolen the money, like, they can find them and ask for it back. And I think in the article, Kraken have said that they're not treating it like a vulnerability disclosure because of the loss of funds, and they're treating it as a criminal investigation. So if I was the grey hat hacker who found the vulnerability, stole $4, and told my mates about it, I would be kind of sketched out right now. I'd be pretty worried that they're going to come after me. But yeah, we'll see. They're a great exchange, and let's hope they continue to be great. We need good exchanges like Kraken, and then also one which has been in the scene for such a long time as well. I think isn't it the longest running exchange now, Kraken as well, and the least hacked, we have to call it now, not the one which hasn't been hacked, the least hacked of all the exchanges. Oh no, Coinbase. Yeah, but the Kraken is still the longest running exchange, Bitcoin exchange, from what I remember.
I think it's that, or maybe a Bitstamp that was sold to Robinhood last week, something like that. But yeah, it is interesting. There was a similar bug on the Silk Road where if
Yeah.
you pushed the web page when you were withdrawing, it would send you two withdrawals, something like that. And similar to this guy, it sounds like a kind of a non-technical user figured this out and then, promptly stole a bunch of money refreshing the page from Silk Road. And recently, that was the guy who had the money in his Cheetos tin under his house or whatever. And of course, he spent it, and they found him, and he's given it all up now. But it is interesting to see a similar bug from a independently developed website and then the big professional juggernaut that's Kraken. So it's unfortunate that they got hacked. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Kraken. I went to school with Jesse. He's a great guy. He's not there anymore, but yeah.
Is he not there anymore?
I don't think he's CEO. I mean, I'm sure maybe he's
Oh,
on the board and probably owns a significant stake or whatever. I don't have the details. But yeah, I think they've actually transitioned in a right way to kind of a more professional CEO
yeah.
with a background and that kind of thing. The thing that people have said Coinbase needs to do for quite a while now. And one more thing on that, there was an interesting hack here in Las Vegas where hackers had penetrated the two major casino companies in town, MGM and Caesars. And I don't have the details, of course, but from what I've read, Caesars paid, MGM didn't. MGM had their systems wrecked. They had massive lines at registration. They had their slot machines go down. They might even been lost capital. I don't know. The hackers really went at them, whereas Caesars just paid. and we don't have that same story where it's hard to check in at Caesars and they're having all kinds of trouble. So we don't know anything about Coinbase, but if I was Coinbase, I would probably pay the hackers, try to fix the bug, and
Yeah. If you have like any system with money in a bank exchange, whatever, like if you get a hack, we've had it in LM Bits where we've had, a hack early on. And then when the person discloses it to you, you give them a big fat bounty, you say thank you very much, and then you get them on side, and then, anytime there's ever another exploit, they get in contact with you, and you've earned a friend, a good, technically wise friend, rather than earning an enemy. And like these hackers have, social groups, and if you act in the wrong way, which by reading that article, it seemed that Kraken, by treating it like a criminal investigation, they probably should just say, look, you can keep 500,000 or something, or 1 million, but give us the money back, and then try and get them on board as friends as opposed to enemies, because it doesn't take much to piss off the hacking community. And like you say, they'll be attacked left, right, and center. But it's, yeah, anything with value, particularly Bitcoin, because if you can, maybe not in the case of Kraken because you're KYC'd, but if you can attack the system and then get some of this stuff out of it and then wash it in something, I think they use Tornado Cash for this hack on Kraken, then it's pretty hard to trace. It's not like hacking a traditional bank. So yeah, I just got to look at the logs on like our demo servers, and they're terrifying. They're IP addresses from all over the world, and people trying to penetrate the system, which is ultimately why Bitcoin systems will win, because there is that honeypot there, and they're incredibly well hardened, especially compared to banks, which we also have to assume have been hacked left, right, and center.
yeah, the same thing with a bank. It would make way more sense to pay off the hackers, have a quiet hack, than not pay them off, have a loud hack, especially given the MGM example. They really
Yeah.
did put them in the ringer. It was major news stories. It was pictures of the lines for check-in, pictures of the dead slot machines, how much money they could have lost, et cetera, et cetera. I imagine next time they'll just pay. But we're running out of time. We're going to go to the end of the show here. Ben, do you have a prediction or a story of the week? Go ahead.
I want to share screen again because what I just did is I just set up a new 8 ball, and this 8 ball, if we pay it, it doesn't give us 8 ball answers, it gives us Satoshi quotes. So you could print this QR code out, stick it in your Bitcoin bar, and then people could pay it, a small amount, and then it will return a Satoshi quote. So hopefully the wallet I'm using will. There we go. And we get a Satoshi quote here, which is Bitcoin is an implementation of YDAI's B-Money proposal on cypherpunks in 1998 and Nick Szabo's BitGold proposal. Satoshi quote. So all I did was I got ChatGPT just to make me a bunch of Satoshi quotes separated by line, and then I popped them into the extension there and generated a new one of those QR codes. You could print it out, stick it somewhere. But there's all sorts of things you could use this Magic 8 Ball software for. So I hope that to be released. So the story of the week would be running that as a workshop in BTC Prague, and it was quite terrifying, the idea of making an extension live in a workshop, but it went well. And then we did a couple of hardware workshops as well. We did a Noster hardware workshop where we made Noster signing devices, app lamps. The other one was Bitcoin Switch. That was really successful. And the conference itself was great. Really well organized. Hats off to Matthias and the BTC Prague crew. And it was great to get people into Prague itself. And some people went over to Polis and then checked out Polis. So I think it's definitely going to be on the circuit. That conference is one of the big conferences to get to if you can. And the tickets were reasonably priced as well. So a lot of people who went there had a lot of good fun. Got to hang with Adam Back, which is always a pleasure. Chat to him, and Marty Malmy as well, and some great Bitcoiners. So yeah, that's my story of the week really. I've also made. I should probably get it up as well today. Actually, I won't be long. Sorry. I'm just going to quickly get up this link and then share screen again. I made a tutorial on setting up the 8-ball LM-Bits extension, but I didn't manage to do it in half an hour because I did it from Polis after the conference and I was utterly wrecked. It took me about an hour to make the extension from scratch, well, an hour and 20 minutes. but I uploaded that to the Bits YouTube. So something else we have, which is cool in Bits now, is actually if you make an extension, you can sell the extension to users. So you could knock up an extension in an afternoon. Everyone would have it available on their Bits install, and then they could pay you, 10,000, 20,000 Satoshis to install the extension, which we think is a really interesting incentive for people to build extensions. Yeah, that's it.
Well, it sounds like some great work, Ben, and it's awesome you were able to build an extension live. I've seen a lot of great tweets celebrating your work and how you go around and help people at the workshops. And I just want to add to that and add to that celebration. You're doing great, Ben.
Yeah, it's good fun, man. It's good fun. Yeah, I love it.
And I want to give a shout out to the Bitcoin Majorca conference. It's coming up on July 11th through 14th in Palma, Majorca, Spain. Check it out at majorcablockchaindays.com. I think I'm going to be there. Ben, you might be there. A lot of the World Crypto Network people are going to be there, and it's a great conference.
This is the
Go ahead.
this is like the, I don't know, it's like the people on the conference circuit doing these conferences. This is the conference the speakers conference or something. Like it's a very small group of people who go. It's a small conference, but it's brilliant. Like we love it every year. It's the most fun. Oh, we got, look at that. We got Mirtaki, and then we got the Electrum guy, and yeah, it's a great conference, man. Honestly, if you can get to that one,
Really
it's good if you just get
small,
to be
and it's
okay.
in a really nice hotel with a
Yeah,
pool and a view of the water. And Majorca is kind of like the German Hawaii, if you haven't heard of it. It's a small island off of Spain, kind of near Ibiza. And yeah, it's a really nice time. Chris right here sets up the conference. He does a lot of great work. As you said, we're gonna have Thomas from Electron Wallet. He's a great guy.
yeah,
We're gonna have Vlad, of course, from Bitcoin Takeover Magazine. It'll be great to see Vlad again. Christian Rutzel, even Peter Todd, Amir Taki. Just a great crew. And Victoria is going to speak. That's awesome. Way to go, Victoria. And yeah, it's just a fun time. It's a really small conference. And if you sign up for the, I don't know, executive package or whatever, you get to go on a boat ride with us on the Sunday. So that's really a good time. We go out into the water. It's a nice big catamaran. They've got nets and stuff. You can swim in the, whatever it is, the Mediterranean Sea out there. And yeah,
yeah.
it's just a great time. So I hope to see everybody at Majorca Blockchain Days. And that sounds great about BTC Prague as well, Ben. I hope maybe next year I could go. It's a bit tough with the timing on these conferences when they're so spread out if you're traveling internationally, as I usually am.
Mallorca's cool because you're just all hanging out, aren't you? You're just drinking a beer with fiat, and it's funny because with when you go the last time I went on that boat, I was like, I saw these fish in the water, and I was like, oh, hey. So I jumped in the sea and I was swimming around with all the fish, and they're eating the stuff, and I'm like, what are they eating this stuff? And then I came back up on the boat, and then I realized that Vlad was really seasick, and he was puking in the toilet, flushing the toilet into the sea, and then the fish were eating the puke, and then I was swimming in the Vlad puke and the fit with the fish. So yeah, you got to be careful. But no, it's an outstanding conference. It's just you just get to hang out and chat to everybody. There's no kind of VIP area. I suppose the closer you get to is the boat, which you don't have to go on, but you still you still get to hang with everybody. So it's a very I don't know, inclusive conference. We all just get to hang and talk Bitcoin for a few days. Yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yep, it's a great time, and I hope if you guys are in the area and you have the ability that you could join us there and also support the conference. It's really hard with a lot of these conferences to get enough people. The prices are a little tough sometimes if it's a smaller conference, but really, yeah, check out Majorca Blockchain Days at majorcablockchaindays.com. And thanks to everybody for joining us on this early day. I'm traveling, so I'm kind of in the car tomorrow, so I won't be able to do this. Thanks to Ben for joining us. And if you missed this show and you're watching it on Friday, that's fine too. It's all going to work out. You can watch it later, you can rewind, all that kind of thing. So shout out to everybody in the chat. If you want to give us a wave or a surf sign or something, that would be cool. Shout out to BTC Moon Guy, Starship, Schrodinger's Destiny, Glenn T, Gerbot, everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining us on this early day. And we're going to head towards the end of the show here. Ben's got a little puppy. Oh, still doing good? Oh,
Yeah, she's still going.
yeah.
Ancient dog.
My puppy's got the sleeping over here, and then the other one snuck off into the other room to sleep. But they're doing pretty good because I took them out right before the show. So you got to do the best with your dogs, and it can be tough. But thanks so much to everybody for joining us. Until next time, bye bye.
Bye.